Hey gang, I got an offer for you today from LinkedIn. As business to business marketers, your needs are unique. B2B buying cycles are long and your customers face incredibly complex decisions. Isn't it time you had a marketing platform built specifically for you? LinkedIn ads empower marketers with solutions for you and your customers. LinkedIn ads allow you to build the right relationships, drive results, and reach your customers in a respectful environment. On LinkedIn, you have direct access to build relationships with decision makers. Of the 875 million users on the network, 180 million are senior level executives. 10 million are C-level executives. You will also be able to drive results with targeting and measuring with their tools built specifically for B2B. And best of all, they work. Audiences exposed to brand messages on LinkedIn are 6 times more likely to convert. LinkedIn ads also rank number 1 for security, community, and ad experience as part of the Business Insider's Digital Trust Study. Make B2B marketing everything it can be and get a $100 credit. It's a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/MPN to claim your credit. It's linkedin.com/MPN. Terms and conditions apply. Welcome to the Entrepreneur's Enigma. This is Seth Goldstein. Hey everybody, welcome to Entrepreneur's Enigma. Today I am with Cory Miller of bunch of things in this past. Currently of Post Status, which is an online community for WordPressers and people who admire WordPress and all that good stuff. He also was the founder, I think, of iThemes as well, which is a big WordPress consortium of plugins and security and training and all that good stuff. So, Cory, thanks for coming on.
Hey, Seth, thanks for letting me be here today.
It's a thrill because you've been in the WordPress space probably longer than I have. When did you first get into WordPress?
2006.
So you were one of the early birds.
Yeah. Now, I wasn't a developer back then or anything. I was like what this term is called, a blogger. Do you remember that, Seth?
I do. Yeah, I remember. I remember remote controls on TVs or something. So
yeah. So in 2006, or I guess the summer, I want to say, I started a professional blog. And my dirty little secret with WordPress is I actually didn't start with WordPress. I started with Blogger. Google owns
we all
Blogger.
did. We all did.
And I loved being able to push publish, and it would push over to FTP and get my site live. And then about a month or two into it, I found this beautiful, amazing software and even better community called WordPress.
Yeah, and the rest is history, right?
Yes, sir. Then in
That's
2008, awesome. I started what you were talking about, iThemes.
Yeah.
We started out with themes, and in year 1 or 2, I can't remember what it was, rolled out plugins. Everybody used to say toward the end of my involvement with iThemes was, why don't you just say iPlugins? I'm like, because everybody knows this is iThemes.
Yeah, you're kind of stuck with the name, for better or for worse,
One of the first WordPress commercial product companies, and very proud of my time in WordPress. And 2008 was a great year for product side commercial because, Brian Gardner, Studio Press, 80, Mark Jepson, all them with Woo Themes, Jason Schuler with Press 75, and us with iThemes. It was a banner year.
Yeah, how I can believe it. And so then you decide, all right, my tenure here has run its course. You've done what you wanted to do, and you took some time.
Yeah. So in, as we progressed, we always try to be relevant, but we're still the bootstrapped, scrappy gang, of people.
Yeah.
And all this money started coming into WordPress, particularly from private equity, and then the hosting companies, which makes sense. And you start playing the tape for it, and you go, gosh, what we're seeing today in WordPress is happening. Yeah. And probably around 2017, I was like, okay, we need to figure something out. And we had a partner in Liquid Web that was great. Loved their team, loved their exec team, and the way they did business too. They're pretty notorious in hosting for being amazing at customer service. And so
really good, yeah.
We ended up talking to them and worked things out. And in 2018, they acquired iThemes. I did about a year after that.
Usually what happens is the founder. Yeah.
Founders are disposable in that sense, but that's
but you commonly see that. It's very rare that you see founders stick around because they're like, hey, I
Yeah.
just made some money. I can go like figure out the next thing.
Yes, that's they didn't think I was disposable necessarily. I
Mhm.
was ready for my next thing after a year, helping the team
Absolutely.
get assimilated and all that. Liquidweb was really good to me, particularly their CTO Joe Osterling. Um,
Hmm.
the team I worked with, amazing. And the team still ran and doing great, like way past what I could have even imagined. With
Yeah,
Matt
it's really
Danner, my
cool.
right hand now, the general manager there, just rode bikes with him earlier this week, and he's killing it. Team's killing it, growing and doing cool
That's
stuff. So
fantastic. So you're a proud papa, regardless if you step aside. You're a proud papa.
yeah.
That's
But
awesome.
your
Yeah,
title of your podcast is perfect because it's the enigma of
it is
entrepreneurs.
an enigma.
I I don't want to. I hesitate from saying I'm unemployable, but you know, they treated me so well there, and I was just ready to do something different and
You
new in
have
my
the
life.
itch. Yeah.
Yeah, and then about a year after that, I left. Almost a year.
Yeah.
Brian Krogsgaard, founder of Post Status, approached me. We've been friends for a long time. I've been a long time supporter, and said, "I want a partner." And I was like, "Yes, yes,
Yeah.
this is everything I wanted."
Exactly.
Then a couple months ago, Brian said, "Hey, he's got new stuff going on in the crypto software space," and
Hmm.
he said, "Hey, I need to, I want to sell, to you. I want you to take over. I need to go leave and focus on these cool things." And so I got to take over as full-time owner, full owner of Post Status, and I'm pumped. I tell you, Seth, you're an
Yeah.
awesome contributor and member at Post Status, but this is my future.
Yeah.
I realized a couple of months ago, because I'm a little dense sometimes, everything I
Huh.
want to do, I can do with Post Status for
Oh,
this
that's
next
awesome.
chapter of
You're
my life.
good. You also have a good logo, good font structure. So you're already there.
Got to have
So
those things.
yeah. So have you always been an entrepreneur? Do you think, or is this something that's developed over time for you, or
What a great
like?
question. The way I tell my stories in parts, in
Hmm.
when I was a teenager, both my grandfathers were business owners. They would never say they were entrepreneurs,
No.
but
Yeah.
I think of them as entrepreneurs. And I saw all of their kids employed by both of their businesses, really
Uh,
drastically different businesses. And I was like, this is a cool life. So they gave me an example, but I went to my one grandfather and who owned a motorcycle dealership, and I said, I want to own a business. And he goes, Corey, no.
I say
Go to
no.
work for someone and get a pension. Well, Seth, in 2021, we have to Google what a pension is. It
Yeah.
really
What is a
doesn't exist.
pension?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So he tried to discourage me. Then you pick back up, and I was kind of fell into journalists like you as background, and I fell
Yeah.
into doing freelance writing, which was I kind of had a little business, but I didn't think of it.
Hmm.
I was like, I like to write, and I like to get paid for that writing.
Exactly.
But when I started with WordPress, something clicked, and I saw this opportunity to really punch a ticket and go, this is really what I want.
Hmm.
Uh, as I've grown as an entrepreneur, I go, this is always going to be a part of my identity. It for misfits like I feel like I am, it
Hmm.
fits. Like entrepreneurship fits.
Oh, it's
Um,
totally for us to think outside the box. Yeah.
yeah, for all I tell people I've had a different job since I was 16, every 2 years on average, until
Wow.
I was
Yeah.
started iThemes, and I was there
Hmm.
for I think all told 11 years.
Wow. You don't see it nowadays. Even in the startup space, founders come on, they get rid of it or they whatever. 11 years, and then you're like, all right, I think I need to move on to something else, which is
Yeah,
really cool. And it's cool because at that point, you're so ingrained in the WordPress ecosystem that you're able to just kind of, say, hey, what can I do next? And then like Brian came over to you and said, hey, you want to help me out with this? And you're like, sure.
the honest truth, Seth, was I did not want to say at all, I'm done with WordPress. Not at all. Like I
No,
love
yeah,
WordPress. My best friends in life are WordPressers.
that's awesome.
But I was like, business wise, I go, okay, been there, done that, got the cool hat, kind of
Yeah,
thing. And but I didn't want to say that publicly at all because I didn't want anybody to interpret like I'm out of WordPress. I love WordPress, but I love more the people in WordPress.
yeah, it's so much more of a community.
Oh
And
yeah.
I was realizing this yesterday. I went from watching the Torque Social Hour to watching an SEO podcast.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about the two of my two communities, WordPress and SEO, is that they're very tight knit. and if you find the right, it's a lot easier to find your niche in WordPress. It's a lot more welcoming a community. There's a lot of
Yeah.
snake oil over in the SEO community. But what I found was there's still that community over in SEO, which is kind of neat, and it's kind of cool that you see what I see with the WordPress community. I see so many people building WordPress sites and have no idea that there's a community behind this.
There's a camaraderie and community, like you said, that's magical with WordPress. I think my hypothesis is I think it's a part of the ethos ethos
Ethos. Okay.
of open source software. I contribute my time, talents, and energy to something bigger than myself. And I think that was one core I've just felt over the years. Like, it's really special. The people in WordPress are special.
It's really cool. Yeah. And also, so tell us, so what's up with post status? See, there's a post status can stop at the bottom here. What is post status? What I could describe it sort of, but it's kind of when I would say an extension of the WordPress ecosystem and ethos.
Yeah.
The community off of a community kind of thing. Fill us in on that.
We are a segment of this bigger magical thing we've been talking about, the WordPress community. We're the people that build WordPress, build with WordPress, build for WordPress, use it, with our full-time efforts. We kind of say WordPress professionals, the business of WordPress. So it includes big-time founders, entrepreneurs like yourself, like people listening to this.
Big-time founders, ha 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 ha. No, but there's like Yoast is on there. Matt Mullenweg. Let's see, who is he? A founder of WordPress. The OG. You're an OG. You're a single OG. He's an OG. And he's on there constantly talking.
Yeah, which is so awesome.
I actually started a spat between Joe Casabona and Matt Mullenweg by accident. I was complaining about something. Joe weighed in on something. Matt took offense. I don't think he took offense to it, but he took exception to it, and he wanted to explain. So he explained. I guess maybe a spat is the right way to say it, but there was a little bit of a debate, healthy debate going on between Joe and Matt.
Yeah.
And actually, Matt Medeiros came on too, I think. To Matt, do you remember that? It was like maybe a few months ago in the club.
Yeah. I think so. It's so much happening in WordPress. That's what we do at Post Status too. Is we help for busy entrepreneurs, leaders like yourself, Matt Mullenweg, Joe, everybody just keep up with everything going on and summarize it with our weekly.
Even with your community, you can't keep up.
Can't even keep up. No.
If you don't subscribe to the Post Status newsletter, which is free, the community you pay for, but the newsletter you can sign up for. I don't know how you guys do it every week. I think Gmail often clips it and says you have to view the full version to click it, go here, which is really funny. It's like, this is a really long one. Mark, I'll send it through to you. I'm like, what?
I know. We fight with Gmail all the time.
Yeah. So you're saying about the community? You're saying yeah.
So newsletters where we do the too long didn't read for busy WordPress professionals, which is all of us. Founders, CEOs, leaders, freelancers, agency, and then developers, designers, people that work with WordPress all day that would identify as capital P WordPressers. And we're an inclusive environment, so we want to make sure WordPress is diverse and awesome, and we want Post Status to be. So we actually, if you're part of underrepresented in tech, I believe it's underrepresentedintech.com, you get a free membership to Post Status. But we have some amazing partners that support us. And then, like you said, the community aspect is more in Slack, where our private Slack in there, where conversations that you're talking about with Matt and Joe happen. And that's awesome. I call it like I'm throwback, Seth, and I say it's like the Rolodex. If you want to of WordPress, business WordPress, serious WordPress, that's where you come as Post Status to make contact. A lot of the acquisition deals that have happened started in Post Status Slack, not because I know that they told me.
I think Yoast has made it very public that it happened in Post Status. I think the Yoast one, they at least met in Post Status and then went off Slack. But it's an incredible community, and of the Slack groups I'm part of, I'm like, this is worth its weight in gold.
Yep, I think so too. It's really special what Brian built, the community built. It's. The contribution by the community to do, like, it's just a running conversations all over in different channels. And I'm just trying to help fan those flames and support and serve our community. But it's awesome. I love it. And like I said, it's all my buddies, all my
Yeah,
friends.
it's like you're hanging out, chilling, all that. And when I think, like, so why did you guys? I know Brian started up the Slack. Why have you stuck with Slack? And entrepreneurs is all about the community. If you don't have a community, you're an entrepreneur, find a community, reach out to us. I'll help you with the community, like that kind of thing. But what? Where was I going with this? With post status, why did you guys stick out with Slack per se, which is a business tool for corporations versus communities? Like one at Discord.
I don't know why, Brian, but I suspect why I
Yeah,
think it is because Slack for essentially tech remote workers like us is a ubiquitous tool. Everybody's got Slack up. I
I
mean,
mean we're
right
all in
now
everybody. Yeah,
I've got 3, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 Slacks up right now.
I think I got EP. I think I have like 14, but yeah.
Oh man. So it's ubiquitous, and so it's easy and lowers the barrier. We are working on paid Slack. I just need to get it funded either through our
Yeah,
membership or
it kind of
sponsor
definitely.
partners.
It's
Because
tough with Slack because it's like per seat, and you're like, ah.
yeah, and it's relied upon as that. And so that's the next step. We're going to be making the big move is to find a way to fund that. I've been working on it for a couple months now. Got a good price to just push upgrade. Just need to get it funded.
I think that would be awesome because then those who are able to contribute almost a GoFundMe, but like a Go WordPress me or something. So let's
Yeah,
just do that.
let's
Someone
do
should
it.
do that as a GoFundMe, but for WordPress stuff.
Yeah,
Isn't
I
there
love it.
one? Is there one out there already that does that, or has no one done that yet? Do a GoFundMe type site for WordPress projects.
I don't know. It's this weird position I'm in because I don't want to just like beg people,
Yeah,
but because it is a for-profit entity. I
yeah,
used my own capital to buy it to continue
yeah,
to run it, and so it is a for-profit entity. But everything I do is do good, do well. So if we do
yeah.
good, serve and
Almost a B
support
Corp.
people, we should do well. But yeah, so it's this weird thing, but I think it is a communal thing too. And so I'm still trying to figure that out because we want to be inclusive. We want to be able to give memberships,
Mm-hmm.
scholarship people into the community because they deserve to be there and they should be there. And
Yeah,
WordPress should be the
as
model
a
of diversity.
mm-hmm.
But it just takes work, and some of that means money.
Money is the root of all evil, but the root of all everything. I mean, unfortunately.
I keep saying, Seth, I'm going to put it out into the universe and see how the universe takes it. It's like,
That's
we
when
want paid Slack.
most of the best projects happen. I mean, didn't Jack Dorsey with Twitter, or it was Ev, or they came up with it. It was like a little thing that they wanted to communicate with each other, and it's like, oh, let's turn it into something. Turn it into Twitter for crying out loud.
Yeah,
it's amazing. But yeah, so this is awesome. I really appreciate you coming on, and like I said, like you're like a micro celebrity in the world. I mean, like I don't know what letter that is, but in WordPress you're a celebrity. But in the realm of celebrities in general, I think you're a W celebrity, a WordPress celebrity. There you go. It's a thrill when I get to talk to people like you who are OGs in the space, have done lots in the space, and are still willing to talk to us. WordPress people that are not as impressive. So
I call BS. I never felt that way once.
no,
I love it because I appreciate the kudos. But there are people that believe their own PR or promotion.
Hype,
I don't want to be any of those. And we have so many good people in WordPress that never think of themselves as some kind of.
Ironically, Matt is the most down to earth founder of a multi-gazillion-dollar company that I've even had the pleasure of meeting. He's a regular dude with a lot of hats on the wall.
I spent a reasonable amount of time with him. I think we've had lunch before and at different things, ran into each other and got to talk. And I'll just say he's charming.
He's very southern charm to him, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, he's
from Houston. He's a Texan.
Originally, yeah. And I'm an Okie, so we have to have that little tension because we always talk about each other. But
exactly. He's from Houston, I think.
And I've gotten a chance to tell him thank you. Like if he didn't publish on Forking B2, taking it to where it is, we wouldn't be here. And he's done amazing things for the community, and really appreciate it. And he's a really brilliant entrepreneur, and I would say even more so investor. If you look at his personal investments, the the guy knows what he's doing. I want to tell him, could you just text me every now and then, like what you want to think is cool? And I want to go invest in it because he really sees technology and where it's going. And I really applaud him for it. Did I freeze? Hey, everybody. It looks like Seth had internet downtime, but I'm still here. What questions would he want me to answer? Let's see. I can come up with a question or two.
Back. Sorry. The internet,
I was just hosting your show for you.
that's awesome. And this is, I'm not even going to cut this. I know it's live. I know it's a recording. Our internet literally just went down. I heard my 8-year-old scream, "Internet's out." My wife's like, "What happened?" And then I come back on and I'm like, Cory's just like going with it.
I'll just keep going.
That's awesome. Well, Cory, so they can find you at poststatus.com. They can find you at Cory Miller on Twitter, right? Or is it Doug Cory Miller?
It's at Cory Miller 303.
Oh, 303.
On Twitter.
It's a pretty common name, so, or at least Miller is.
Yes, both. Yeah. There's actually a Cory Miller at ConvertKit.
Oh, there's there?
Yes.
There's a more famous Seth Goldstein who's at Seth on Twitter and has SethGoldstein.com. He's an investor in Silicon Valley. He did Turntable to FM, all that stuff. So wow. I get all his tweets. I get into things faster because they think I'm the other Seth. It's hilarious.
So there's also a Cory Miller that spells his name differently than me and the Cory, but is a famous tattoo artist. And I've had requests over the years from my personal site to do weird tattoos.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you can write a book, I'm sure. That's awesome. Well, Cory, this is a thrill. Like I said, before I lost the stream for a second there, I'm going to have to go back and listen and see how well you did. I'll make a little clip saying, Cory takes over the show.
Yeah.
Honestly, we're all on the web nowadays. This is our lives. You know, it's just the way it is. So thank you for rolling with it. And,
of course.
And thank you for being on the show. So this will probably be out in 2 weeks.
Okay. Thanks for asking me to be a guest and let me talk about one of my favorite subjects.
Awesome, my friend.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Gordon Glenister hosts an outstanding podcast called the Influence Global Podcast. Gordon, tell these fine folks what they're going to get when they listen.
We interview some amazing people from all around the world, whether they be influencers, content creators, brands, influencer platforms, anybody involved in the influencer industry. There's some fantastic guests that make a fine listen for you. You can find them on marketingpodcasts.net, or you can also find them on my own website, which is www.gordonglenister.com.
Or, of course, wherever you get your podcasts. This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.